Zohran Mamdani just did the thing that I just said that he was going to be doing for months. Turns out I was correct. Wow. Another penny into the Nux is Always Right jar. Wow. So I hope you're ready, ladies and gentlemen, because we're about to do a deep dive, the likes of which you've never seen before. Zohran Mamdani just released this video today. Let's watch his little propaganda piece, and then we'll look into certain other factors in New York City, specifically involving this guy.
Last weekend, ICE attempted to raid Canal Street and detain our immigrant neighbors.
Illegal aliens and scammers on Canal Street, for the record. All right, you are an insurrectionist. You are fighting against the mandate of the American people. Like, dude, all right.
As mayor, I'll protect the rights of every single New Yorker.
They're illegal. They're not New Yorkers. They're foreigners.
And that includes the more than 3 million immigrants who call this city their home.
But no one's arguing about the immigrants. It's the illegal aliens. Like, dude, it's so fucking frustrating, man, dealing with these people.
But we can all stand up.
Why do they have subtitles in Spanish? Because this is a video essentially teaching illegals how to escape from law enforcement. This is, in my opinion, a seditious video. I think you should go to jail for this.
To ICE, if you know your rights. If you encounter ICE, these are the things that every New Yorker should know. First, ICE cannot enter into private spaces like your home, school, or a private area of your workplace without a judicial warrant signed by a judge. That looks like this.
Yep.
If ICE does not have a judicial warrant signed by a judge, you have the right to say, I do not consent to entry, and the right to keep your door closed.
He's doing everything in his power to teach people to not work with law enforcement.
Sometimes ICE will show you paperwork that looks like this and tell you that they have the right to arrest you. That is false. ICE is legally allowed to lie to you, but you have the right to remain silent. If you're being detained...
Do you see how crazy this is? He's literally telling illegal invaders into our country not to work with law enforcement.
You may always ask, am I free to go, repeatedly, until they answer you. You are legally allowed to film ICE, as long as you do not interfere with an arrest. It is important to remain calm during any interaction with ICE or law enforcement. Do not impede their investigation, resist arrest, or run. One last thing. New Yorkers have a constitutional right to protest. And when I'm mayor, we will protect that right. New York will always welcome immigrants.
So, but the thing is, you have the right to protest, but you don't have the right to block traffic, or throw bricks at police officers, or light cars at fire. Like, you have to understand, the right to protest means you have the right of speech. And, like, look at the way he's mixing words. He's doing, like, this obviously very thoroughly lawyered video where he says, everyone has the right to remain silent, and, like, everything he's saying is true. But the underlying message here is that he's directly telling people not to work with ICE, to obstruct justice, in my opinion. That's what he's saying. And he's telling people that we are going to be doing mega protests. You know how every single city in America became a shithole after these protests happened? Black Lives Matter burns down to the city. CNN, it's a peaceful protest. The city was on fire behind the reporter when the reporter was saying peaceful protest. This is crazy.
And I will fight each and every day to protect, support, and celebrate our immigrant brothers and sisters.
Yeah, so, but what about the illegals? Because no one's actually going after the immigrants. So in my opinion, this entire video, well, it's obviously fear-mongering and propaganda and all that shit, but I think it's actually illegal. Because the reality is there is no threat against immigrants. The threat is against illegal immigrants. So who is he talking to here? Obviously the illegal immigrants. And he's claiming that they have rights when they don't? It's almost like he's obstructing justice. I think that this shit needs to get squashed. Will it? Probably not. Probably not. We're watching New York's fall down the shitter. New York is going to become England very soon. A radical Islamist majority is going to slowly grow in England, being protected by the retards in power that are consistently going to get voted in because he imported his voters. So Trump obviously needs to go harder, and I wish he will, even though I'm scared that he won't, but I wish he will. And if not him, then Vance needs to. Ahmed Jefferson over here is telling illegals about their rights as he imports voters. It's absolutely scary how neutered the Trump administration is when it comes to stuff like this, because even if you deport 100,000 people or 1 million people, quite frankly, it's not enough. It's not enough, buddy. We need to move much, much harder. Much harder. This guy's crazy. Know your rights. Bro, and he's fighting for illegals. So anyway, this is something that he said yesterday that went super viral.
Since the start of his administration, thousands of sweeps have happened since 2024, but no one has been offered permanent housing, and I think the data from Mint was 114 were offered. Will you? They were asking you.
No.
Yeah, so this is him confirming that he is banning the clearing of homeless camps in Manhattan, meaning he is making sure that there's still going to be the homeless camps in Manhattan. You know, all the people that are sitting in the subway, that are sleeping on benches, that are stabbing people, that are injecting people with needles, that are lighting people on fire, that are robbing people, that are scamming people, that are mugging people, all those guys in shithole New York City, he is not going to be clearing them away. He is going to let them live there. Welcome to the Mamdani free bus ride, ladies and gentlemen. Like, dude, he is raping our land. Like, we are importing people that are literally raping and pillaging our land. The orcs are already in the Shire, all right? And this dude is protecting them. This dude's the fucking Saruman, pulling Arukai from the center of the mountain. Every single day, another couple of Arukai pop out. This isn't funny. Am I laughing? Am I laughing? This is happening in real time. Now, you have two options. You can either cry or you can laugh. So you might as well laugh. You could laugh at the New Yorkers that voted for this while the Arukai start pillaging our fucking nation. All right? Because this is what's happening in real time. Now, you have to understand what's going on. There are 7,169 known criminals that are illegals. Illegal aliens that are also violent, that were in prisons in New York City, that they refused to let them deport. Which means we were paying for their jail time. All right? They were sitting in jails, and we were funding their jail experience. Instead of deporting them, even though they were A, illegal, and B, also violent criminals. But guess what? Because it got a lot worse. New York State has released nearly 7,000 known illegal migrant criminals without notifying ICE since President Trump took office, the Post has learned. This is breaking news from today. So the reality is that a lot of people are not willing to acknowledge is the fact that these 7,000 criminals, they knew that Trump was going to storm him and deport them. So you know what they did with these violent criminals? Like, you don't understand, man. These are violent criminals. They're murderers. They're rapists. And you know what they did? In order to protect the criminals from Trump deporting them, they just released them into the wild. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They fucking freed them. They freed them into the wild. Literally to fuck our habitat, all right? This is crazy. Like, this is a fucking invasive species, buddy. What are we doing? And then they're like, oh, wow, Trump is going to deport these rapists. Let's just release them. Let's just release them into the wilderness. Bro, we need David Attenborough to analyze this for National Geographic. As the alien rapist stalks the white woman that voted for him to be there. Bro, we need this. Dude, this is tragic. So this is 5 a.m. in Brooklyn. Yeah, 5 a.m. Brooklyn, New York. Now, the thing is, they have like hundreds of mosques. Can you explain to me why they need to do it on the street? That's one. Two, you really need to blast that at 5 a.m., buddy? Bro. So I think that the middle of the street is for dominance. I think that's pretty obvious. No, this isn't Dearborn. This is New York. Yep. Yep, nothing to see here. Just a couple of people doing their thing, I suppose. At 5 in the morning, blasting this in the loudspeakers, summoning them to their cause. This is another thing that happened in New York, which is diabolical. And honestly, I'll let you tell me what you think this is. So this is a subway, New York. Look at this guy. This is a guy wearing what appears to be a suicide vest, holding a knife, middle of the street, with like a fucking skirt thing. So Zohran Mamdani thinks that we need more of these. All right, based. Anyway, anywho, that dude's a dumbass. I don't know, man. I don't know what this is about, but you're going to tell me that dude's mentally all there? I don't know, bro. So, Destiny, people like Destiny decided to have one of the greatest takes of all time. So, we're going to be talking about that very briefly before we get right back into New York City. So, this is what he said on Piers Morgan the other day.
Is the naivety of a 12-year-old.
Now, he knows a thing or two about naive 12-year-olds.
None of what's been said so far about all of the people that were brought here passes any basic sanity test.
He's referring to the people that were brought here from Afghanistan.
There were some 77,000 people that came from Afghanistan. The idea that we didn't vet any of them and only one or two extreme instances of any kind of violence or planned violence has happened just doesn't pass a basic sanity test. Where are all of the terrorist attacks that should be happening if we really brought over almost 80,000 people and didn't vet them at all? Also, the idea that there was no vetting.
So he's defending the importation of 80,000 unvetted Afghans because it was only one or two violent terrorist attacks. This is a 29-year-old man named Ranwala Lawankakawal, an Afghan national who shot 2 National Guard in Washington, D.C. This is Mohammed Dawood Alokazi, the Afghan migrant who threatened to detonate bombs in Fort Worth, Texas, arrested and called a white man when arrested. This is an interesting article from the New York Post from a week ago that explains how more than 5,000 Afghan migrants were flagged on national security grounds since 2021, since they were all imported into the country. This is a story that happened 2 days ago from the University of Delaware. A student was busted for an alleged mass shooting plot. Turns out he's an Afghan immigrant who came to the U.S. as a youth. This, as you can see, is a story that's breaking about how the Trump administration halted 2 million asylum claims because of this.
Expected a flurry of new immigration decisions, not only targeting people from Afghanistan, but also halting all asylum decisions until further vetting can't be done.
The nonsense that the left gave us with this Operation Welcome Allies. Look, there was no vetting.
That was the operation that brought in all the Afghans.
If you think there was vetting, I have a bridge to sell you.
The Trump administration has now paused issuing visas for people traveling on Afghan passports, as well as stopped processing all immigration requests from the country. Now, the new directives do go beyond just Afghanistan. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services announced that all asylum decisions will be put on hold until every single person is vetted and screened, while the status of
this is what it should have been from the get-go.
Card holders from 19 countries of concern will be re-examined. Now, today on the international front, President Trump posted on Truth Social warning airlines, pilots.
Yeah, that's a separate story. That's not the point for today. The point for today is Destiny goes on Piers Morgan, and I believe this is a very popular position on the left. Why do you have a problem with importing infinite Muslims? There were only like 2 terrorist attacks throughout all of American history. Why on earth are you upset?
Any of them, and only 1 or 2 extreme instances of any kind of violence or planned violence has happened. Just doesn't.
Only 1 or 2 happened. Why would we? What's the problem? We should import infinite of them. Only 1 or 2 cases of violence happened. Well, the reality is there were more than 5,000 Afghan migrants flagged for national security grounds since 2021. That includes violence. That includes threats. That includes, preparing to commit acts of violence. This is crazy. This isn't since 2021, all right? Dude's, like, mad that there weren't more terrorist attacks, so he can't, like, beef up his argument. Like, he's mad that more people aren't getting murdered. It's pretty wild. But the reality is, for the last 1,400 years, I swear, I'm just defending myself. I swear, I'm just defending myself! So, let's look at what's actually going on in the newly Islamified glorious state of New York and New York City in general, because that place is falling apart fast. We have this rebel Islamist communist that wants to leave more homeless people on the streets, like that knife-wielding guy that I've showed you a second ago. He's trying to do his absolute best to teach illegal aliens how to escape from ICE agents. That's my interpretation, and I think he should probably, like, get arrested for something like that, I would think. Obstruction of justice, I don't know. Fuck this shit, man. Treason. And then you have other retards being like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? There's no issues. What are you talking about? It was only 5,000 terrorist attacks.
Hochul drew the wrath of some environmentalists and some residents over this proposed underwater gas pipeline that would go out near Staten Island and out to the Rockaways. Do you plan to weigh in on that?
Look,
I think you're on the record as opposing it.
I'm on the record as opposing any new fossil fuel construction. And
that's right, because this guy cares about the environment. That's it, baby. That's what we're talking about, baby. He cares about the environment. This dude is literally the embodiment of I care about the current thing in order to get elected and import infinite Muslims. It's pretty insane.
It's part of a commitment to taking on the climate crisis.
And in a case like that, I mean, there's litigation.
Right, can I tell you my opinion on the climate crisis, since I don't feel like we got to talk about that recently and people aren't aware of my opinion? 98% of the climate crisis comes from China. Also, we don't even know if there's a climate crisis. So if it's real, which I'm not sure if it is, I'm not convinced, for the record. A lot of people, I'm not like a big climate change guy. I personally think that a lot of that shit is faked. I really do. Because, dude, we had the Ice Age, right? If you look at human history, if you look at the history of the planet, there was the Ice Age. It was warm, and then there was an Ice Age, and then there was a warm age, and, like, bro, it fluctuates. But that said, even if you want to say that there is a climate crisis, there's nothing we could do about it. It's literally all China. It's literally all China. Like, America is contributing to 1% of like pollution, okay? Like, bro, and then you look at what's going on in China and India, and we are literally not even making a dent. So I actually don't care.
And there's people who are really going to be taking sides. So as mayor, your voice will really carry pretty far in that conversation. Do you plan to be part of that conversation?
I think I'll always make my thoughts clear as I have done now and will continue to do so. And I also look forward to the working relationship that I have with the governor, which is one that has been focused on the affordability crisis and how to deliver for New Yorkers.
You know what would help the affordability crisis? If you made fuel! Oh my God, dude. It's so insane. Like, every single one of his stances is anti-affordability. All of them, right? You know what'll help the affordability crisis? If you deport 1 million people, all right? If you don't import people that don't work and that are on Social Security. If you clear people out, illegal aliens out of houses that now other people could live in. If you fire illegals, so therefore legal citizens can actually get jobs. Like, do you realize, man, you are literally an enemy of affordability, and then you're screeching about communism. It's like, well, instead of deporting the people that shouldn't be here, that are literal leeches on society, and instead of actually doing something to produce gases and fuel because the environment might be in danger, let's just tax people more. You know, not all people, just the people that actually work for a living.
Been part of the conversation?
Not as yet. No, the focus has been more on universal childcare and the affordability agenda that I ran on.
Well, where are you getting all that money?
Mamdani, like, you got to read the latest thing. It's not a crisis anymore. You're killing your bread and butter affordability because you can't let go of your old fling, climate change.
He sounds crazy, too.
Well, he's not in yet, and he's making promises because he's not actually having to govern until January. And I want to be fair with this guy. He ran a masterful campaign from social media. My own social people said he was incredible in figuring out algorithms on every platform. Everything he did, it was really high, top quartile engagement.
It was a good campaign. He got the retard vote. I think it's really obvious that this dude's like, he just literally won the retard vote. He rolled in and he promised free shit to retards, and the retards voted for him, and now he's here. I know, masterful campaign when you just lie, actually. It's crazy.
Won that way. He has a big challenge, though, and you're detailing some of the policy decisions he has to make.
He has a big challenge, bro. He has a really big challenge. The big challenge is A to Z. A to Z. How's he going to get the money to give the free shit that he promised? That's the main issue.
This is not a country that he's managing. He's managing a city with limited federal jurisdiction, limited state jurisdiction. He has to speak upstate to get stuff done or even get money. I would think somewhere...
There he is, protesting Starbucks billionaires. Instead of protesting Starbucks billionaires, you know what he should do, in my opinion? He should tell people, guys, go out and start your own businesses. Who knows who the next Starbucks is going to be? Dude, it's so much more impactful. Like, think about how crazy this is, man. Think about how insane it is. Like, every single one of you could build the next Starbucks. You know what? Honestly, make better coffee. Starbucks is dog shit. See, like, I'm not here defending Starbucks or anything. I think Starbucks is one of the worst companies ever. All right? And it's full of liberal white women that are spending $8 on a fucking macchiato, frappuccino, fribbifobo with 47 different words. They don't even know what they're saying. I'll have an extra deluxe grande with sprinkles and 2 pumps of chocolate. It's like, oh my God, dude. You're broke. You're broke, lady. That was $8, and it tastes like soap. I make better coffee. Oh my God.
Between now and when he actually takes the seat as mayor.
And for the record, I'm not blaming Starbucks. I'm blaming the retards that are buying from Starbucks. The Starbucks CEO is only rich because the retards are buying from Starbucks. It's not good. It's trash coffee.
He's got some soul searching to do on policy, including what you're talking about here. Freezing in the dark because you don't have the gas is a really bad campaign.
We need.
But again, no one's going to talk about how the fact that his campaign idea is like, we have to protect the environment, so we're just literally not going to have heat. We're not going to have heat. We felt like this would be a good solution.
Ecotherms.
We promised you free bus rides, but we also want to protect the environment. Have you considered walking, fat ass? It's like, bro.
Even your diehard supporters might not continue to support
But I think that's the kind of thing that, you know, and free food and free transportation, all this stuff is policy. He'll be sitting there never having managed anything, and I'm willing to give him the credit that he managed a great campaign, but now the hard work begins. And I actually say, as a visitor of New York waiting for my free stuff, I wish him good luck because I've been waiting for him.
Look, and if he can make New York a utopia, I will easily bite the bullet, and I will say I was wrong. I will be the bigger man if New York becomes a utopia, and I have family in New York, so I will ask them. All right, I will get the inside opinion. I go to New York often. I'm probably in New York at least once a year. And next time I'm in New York, you know, I'll give it a fair shake, a fair freaking shake. I just think that New York is going to end up a shithole.
Because I want to come to the airport here and get a free lift into the city. And damn it, I don't want to pay these hotel bills anymore. It's ridiculous. I need free, and then I want free food.
You're right.
It's fair. I should get all.
Boy. So we got to talk about New York City, a.k.a. Gotham City, or the very least, that is what New York City is going to turn into under the leadership.
It's so obvious to literally everyone that even thinks about this for a second. That's the craziest part. That's the craziest part, dude. It's insane. Literally everyone knows that it's going to fail if you think about it. It's like free buses. Okay, so who's paying the bus drivers? The rich people? Taxes for rich people?
Of Zohran
I want my free Starbucks.
Mamdani, right? The Democrat socialist that just won the New York City mayor's race. And it seems as if his free stuff agenda is already off to a hot start. Okay.
Yeah, no one saw this. No, again, like you take 2 seconds to think about the free stuff agenda and you realize it's completely retarded.
Of free stuff, okay, that Zohran Mamdani promised is raising his salary and the salaries of the Democrats running the city council. Yes, that is essentially the first thing on their agenda once Zohran Mamdani.
Wow, the first thing on the agenda is increase his own salary. Wow, that's pretty funny. And he won't get taxed higher because he's not white. That's right, baby. That's right. That's right. He's only taxing white people more and Jews. Those are the only people that get extra taxes.
Takes office is to give themselves a pay raise because, you know, hey, all of this stuff is free. Money is free now in New York City. So you got to pay the politicians first.
They're already earning enough.
I think everybody should get a pay raise, including me.
We should be thinking.
These people are so stupid. Like, that's where they get their votes, man. That's literally where they get their votes. This is diabolical.
I think everyone should get a pay raise. And why doesn't everyone just make more money?
Oh my God, dude, these people can vote.
First about homelessness.
As long as they do the right thing, they should get some more money.
New Yorkers reacting to the majority of the city council signing on to a bill that would give across-the-board raises, not just to themselves.
They just print more money. I don't understand why we ever have issues of money. Why don't they just print more money and give everyone a raise? As long as they do the right thing, like promise free shit to retards, I will be on their side. I just hope they import more Muslims.
But
the rape rate in New York has been a little too low. My grandkids are getting complacent. We need to increase the rape rate of New York City ASAP.
District attorneys and every other elected official all the way up to the mayor. City elected officials have not had a raise since 2016. And in the meantime, council member Althea Stevens says she and her colleagues have not been immune from the roughly 35% inflation during that time.
I'm a single mom, I live alone, and so to be able to pay rent, it's really been tough for me to do that.
Hundreds of thousands of employees.
The solution would actually be deporting 1 million illegals. That would help. That would help your rent. But you would rather instead just take money from people that earned it and reward criminals that invaded your city. I get it.
Work for the city do get regular raises, with a good many who now make more than city council members.
We're out there on holidays, we're out there on weekends. Our expectation is for us to be in the community on a regular basis, and so we should be able to take care of ourselves and our family at the same time.
The proposal on the table is currently for a 16% raise. City council members would get $24,000 more per year and land at $172,500. The comptroller would get $33,000 more, and the mayor would see a more than $40,000 bump to a pay.
Dude's raising his salary to over $300K? This is crazy. Like, this is the most obvious scam of all time.
Of over $300,000. Incoming mayors
I don't understand. I thought he was fighting for the poors.
Yep. No. He won already. He doesn't need the poors anymore.
Mamdani, a Democratic socialist who ran.
This dude is literally going out there ranting against Starbucks for, the CEO of Starbucks taking a lot of money. It's literally his company. It's literally the CEO's company. He has the right to pay himself however much he wants. All right? But this dude literally does not have that right. And he's doing it anyway. This is crazy.
And on a message of affordability, sidestepped the politically tricky question of pay raises earlier this week.
I'm not worried about the hypotheticals at this time.
Council members...
Sir, we've noticed that you've increased your pay to $300,000 a year. I'm not worried about hypotheticals, sir.
Supporting the bill say this is just a jumping off point for a conversation, which is something that's mandated in the...
Oh, and Chad, you know who's paying for that raise? You know who's paying that? The white people, let's go. Let's go. We imported people to pillage our land. W.
City charter.
I just think it's worth looking at it and, you know, earnestly listening and exploring.
How is this communism? Communism is always tyranny. Communism is always tyranny, ladies and gentlemen. Communism cannot exist without tyranny. Because how do you get money from people? How do you take their money from them? Think about it for a second. If communism is all about redistributing the wealth from the rich, how the fuck do you get the wealth from the rich? The rich is not just going to give you their wealth. Well, you have to take it by force. Communism is inherently tyranny. So how do you actually get a system like that to work? Think about it. How does a system like that actually function? Like, who's in charge to make sure that the money is actually distributed? Well, now you need a ruler. You need a leader. And that leader is the one who decides where the money goes. And he decides that he gets a lot more money than anybody else. Communism is inherently a tyrannical, authoritarian system, and it cannot exist without authoritarianism and theft. It is an anti-biblical values system that cannot possibly exist without tyranny. And that is why every single, without exception, socialist or communist country through all of history ended up becoming a tyrannical government. Every single one of them. All of them. Russia, China, Venezuela, Cuba, every single one of them without exception. So yeah, anyway.
What needs to be done?
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Apparently, that is priority number one for Democrats and Zohran Mamdani when he takes office, which is to give themselves pay raises, right? Because they deserve it, okay? They deserve it. They have done such a great job at making New York City affordable that they should pay themselves more, right?
It's crazy that they went out and did this, like, first. The first thing that they did was increase their own paycheck. Like, that's so obviously scummy. Like, it's so insane. And you'll still find liberal white women talking about why it's actually important because, to be fair, the last mayor was paid $250,000 a year, and that dude wasn't a Muslim. This is a mayor that also experiences Islamophobia. So to be fair, he needs more.
Yeah, if these New Yorkers haven't figured out that they've been bamboozled by now, I don't know what to
it
tell
was
you.
like the swindle of the century.
Right, because as you guys saw at the beginning of this video, a part of making New York City affordable apparently is also going to include implementing the green agenda, right? Blocking economic infrastructure projects that...
Obviously, because it would hurt the environment. Do we understand the insanity that we're dealing with, man? It's like, I'm going to make New York more affordable, but we are not going to actually bring any infrastructure or growth to the country or the city.
Will make life more affordable, and saying, no, we got to focus on green, right? We got to focus on the environment. I don't think that's very affordable, to be honest with you, right? No. I don't think that that's going to...
the environment shit's always been a scam, in my opinion. Like, dude, we have to stop, man. We're, like, actually getting... the retards in New York are getting swindled and bamboozled on a gigantic scale. And you know what? The craziest part is, like, you look at it, and you understand exactly how we got here. We have universities that are funded by foreign agencies like China and Qatar, all right? Like, all these people like China, Qatar, Saudi Arabia are funding our colleges in New York specifically. Now you have students going to New York, getting absolutely brainwashed and brain broken, especially women, who actually are much more susceptible to this propaganda, like this touchy-feely, emotion-based propaganda. Oh, the poor immigrants. Oh, the poor people in Gaza who started a war and lost miserably, you know, stuff like that. Essentially, so now you have these colleges that are pushing all this emotional propaganda drivel down the throats of people, and releasing these fucking retards into the wild to have empathy for their enemies, and convince them not to actually build families or children, because once people actually, like, dude, the most radicalizing thing for a woman is getting married and having children. It'll radicalize the fuck out of them. You'll take a liberal woman and bam, she'll end up a hardcore conservative the moment that baby breathes his or her first breath, because suddenly you're like, whoa, I actually really care about this baby and I really want to protect it forever. And that actually doesn't align with importing infinite pedophiles. You know, man? You know what I'm saying? So realistically, the school system teaches women to not actually build families, to not actually have children, to not actually have skin in the game, to be virtue signaling empathetic fucking retards, and to slime out votes for the candidates that they want. They bring them in because they promise them the retard vote. Oh, we are going to fight for the retards and import the retards and give money to the retards and release the retards from prisons. And it's like, wow, that person so understands. There's so much empathy. We love him. And then that's how we're here. All right, did I describe that properly? I know that was a bit of a rant. I know that was a bit of a rant, but we are being robbed blind by democracy. We are importing retards to vote. We are brainwashing retards to vote. And the retard vote just fucking steals our cities. That is exactly where we are. You have to know who the enemy is. You have to know what we're dealing with. But that's exactly what we're dealing with. Absolutely. 100%.
Make life more affordable. Also on top of that, Hochul has already pumped the brakes on free buses, okay? They don't.
What's the solution? Fix yourself. That's right, baby. You gotta fix yourself. That's the first step, man. Fixing the world starts with fixing yourself. Get married, build a family, raise them with proper values. You know, that's the number one thing you could do. Then, you know, talk to people, have conversations, free speech, but there's nothing as important as actually becoming a better person yourself. Clean your goddamn room.
Don't know if they're gonna actually tax the rich. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that Zohran promised, right? It doesn't really seem like he's gonna get a lot of the things that he promised his constituents. Okay, it seems like the stuff that he's actually gonna end up being able to do is just going to make life more unaffordable, and also more dangerous as well too, because Zohran also is vowing to end homeless sweeps. Yes. Eric Adams started a program where he is basically sweeping homeless people off the streets. And Zohran is saying, no, we're going to reverse that, right? We're actually going to allow more homeless people on the...
Bro is actually like it's crazy because this is like the actual retard position. We want more homeless people on the streets. What are we doing? Literally, what are we doing? Like, this is like this is a slow suicide. And he's just making it faster. This is crazy. Oh my God.
The streets because we don't want to clean up New York City. This is what he's saying. So without further ado, let's go.
He's like, I really like, dude, where does he come from? He's from Uganda, right? Uganda, right? He's a Ugandan national. So like, this is a guy saying we would really like to turn New York City into Uganda. What's wrong with homeless encampments on the streets? That's exactly how we lived back home in Uganda. Of course we're gonna eat rice slop with our bare hands. That's how we did it back home in Uganda. Of course we're not gonna imprison rapists. Is rape even that bad? Well, in Uganda, it's pretty frowned upon, but, you know, so, and that's where we're at, man. That's where we're at. Obviously, they're turning New York into a shithole, because we literally gave power over us. We gave power over us to someone who honestly wants us to be something else. Holy shit, man.
Ahead and learn about how Zohran is going to turn New York City into San Francisco.
In just 26 days, New York will have a new mayor, Mayor-elect Mamdani, campaigned on progressive policies, and we're beginning to get a glimpse of what that may look like. Today, Mr. Mamdani announced that he's not going to focus on breaking up homeless encampments. A big change.
Not only is he not going to focus on it, he said he's not doing it.
From Mayor Adams.
Oh my God.
Will the shift lead to scenes that have plagued parts of California, like in San Francisco and parts of LA? Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett live at Penn Station.
Yes. He's trying to make New York a shithole. Yes. And will he succeed? Probably.
With the reaction tonight. NJ?
Yeah, Mike, good question. Mamdani clearly believes that won't happen, but his approach will have to be successful. The city's going to have to make major investments in housing, and he believes that affordability is at the root of homelessness.
On the coldest day of the season, we found homeless New Yorkers taking refuge underground. Like this woman named Harriet, who told us she needs help.
Nothing is being done.
And they have nowhere to live.
And they have nowhere to live, so they have to keep being, this shelter is supposed to be like some
temporary.
Like a temporary place.
That's really sad. If she's not a citizen, we should deport her. If she is a citizen, we should deport someone else. Like, bro, what are we doing?
Harriet says she doesn't know where to turn, which may be true for many who need to stabilize.
Dude, this is so sad. Look at this, man. I'm a veteran that needs help. Homeless without benefits. Meanwhile, we're importing retards. Fucking insane, man.
Their lives. Incoming Mayor Zohran Mamdani told reporters that the answer to homelessness is to provide homes.
Connecting those New Yorkers to housing, whether it's supportive housing, whether it's rental housing, whatever kind of housing it is.
When he took office, Mayor Adams faced an onslaught of high-profile crimes committed by homeless, unstable people. His reaction was immediate.
No more smoking, no more doing drugs, no more sleeping, no more doing barbecues on the subway system, no more just doing whatever you want.
It was both no nonsense and compassionate. Police
too compassionate.
officers enforced so-called quality of life violations and ended homeless encampments.
Dude, look at this shit, man. This is on the subway, bro. Holy fuck, man. This is crazy. Like, we don't need to live like this. We built American civilization to live like this? Like, what are we doing? I really, this is like the CIA destabilization shit. Like, this is a concerted effort to fuck us.
They were paired with outreach workers to coax the homeless off the streets and into treatment. The severely mentally ill were involuntarily committed.
We said it's inhumane to walk by someone that clearly they can't take care of their basic needs.
It is so sad, man.
Mamdani believes it's inhumane to end encampments.
Bro's like, we should get, oh my god, dude. It's inhumane to, he's like, yeah, they should sleep on the street, actually. Yeah. What's wrong with having that smelly guy with his garbage cans in the middle of the subway that stabs people only once a week? Huh? What do you have against them, huh?
And would use involuntary commitment in the rarest of cases.
If you are not connecting homeless New Yorkers to the housing that they so desperately need, then you cannot deem anything you're doing to be a success.
Dave Giffen.
You know, it'll literally clear up so many houses if you deport the illegals. It's like, it's so obvious. But the reason why he's not doing that is because, in my opinion, this entire campaign is just a Trojan horse for the illegals. I said this before, I'll say it again. This dude is literally using communism and socialism and progressivism as a Trojan horse to import infinite Muslims. That's, in my opinion, that's exactly what we're looking at. That is exactly what we're looking at, man. So he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit. Like, the solution to all of the problems is deporting illegals, but that is the one thing he refuses to do, because in my opinion, that is the core of his entire campaign system.
The Coalition for the Homeless.
The only way we're going to solve this problem is by creating enough permanent housing such that people don't have to live on subway platforms and live on the streets.
You know what's so confusing about this to me? Y'all remember the illegal immigration crisis, right? Where you had all these asylum seekers in New York City.
Yep.
They were able to find housing and to get those people in shelters, right? They were able to do that almost immediately. Now, when it comes to these homeless people on the streets, for whatever reason, they're having a hard time figuring out how to house them. And
it's almost like it's literally done on purpose. It's almost like this is like the actual strategy and playbook. It's almost like turning New York into a shithole is the goal.
Well, just do the same thing you did for the illegals, right? If you do the same thing that you did for the illegals, then problem solved.
Yeah, but you can't, because you also need to do the thing for the illegals, because you refuse to get rid of them.
But what can't happen is that they can't just be on the streets, roaming the streets, mentally ill, being agents of chaos. Like, no, you can't. I mean, and they're ruining the city. They're ruining the quality of life for everybody else, okay, who's not homeless, who got a job, who actually works, right?
Dude, I love whenever I do like videos like this. I have one guy in my chat that's like, yo, you should research the Muslim Brotherhood. You think I don't know about the 100-year plan? You absolute buffoon. You think I am not familiar with the 100-year plan? In 1991, the Muslim Brotherhood released a plan that they essentially wanted to conquer the Western world. They tried and failed to conquer it through warfare, so now their new strategy is conquering it by the ballot instead of the bullet. So the Muslim Brotherhood plan is essentially to use the freedoms of Western civilization against ourselves, so that essentially they can use our rights and freedoms to import infinite Muslims. They will outbreed us, and then when they become a majority, it'll take 100 years, but they will conquer the Western world. That is exactly what they're saying. And in fact, it looks like it's working. It looks like it's working. We are only 40 years into the 100-year plan. And realistically, it literally looks like it's actually working in real time. And I'm going to tell you something really terrifying. If England becomes a Muslim majority country, it'll be a Muslim majority country with nuclear weapons. You have to understand that, like, we are so ill-equipped. The West has become a feminized, empathetic retard nation to so many people. And we are so not equipped for this, man.
Who's not mentally ill, you got to get these people off the streets and out of society, right? I mean, again, people like Zohran, I can never vote for a person like him because they are too naive about life. They're too naive about...
I disagree. I don't think Zohran's naive at all. I don't think he's naive at all. I think he's smart. I think he's a smart guy. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows that all he needs to do is keep promising free shit to get the retard vote. I don't think he's naive. I think his voters are naive. I think his voters are retards. Zohran's a smart guy. I think he's a snake, but I think he's a smart guy. I don't think it does you well to underestimate your enemies.
How there are just some people who just can't cut it, right? They can't cut it, okay, in this society. So they have to be pushed out, okay? They have to be involuntarily housed because otherwise they're ruining life for everybody else. And there's no reason why New York City, which again should be the greatest city in the world, should have homeless folks running around on the streets, committing crimes, killing folks, doing drugs, right? Just ruining the experience for everybody else. The streets of New York City, especially Manhattan.
Again, this is the leftist mentality of, being empathetic to the cruel. But empathy to the cruel is cruelty to the innocent. And they refuse to acknowledge that.
Manhattan should be clean, right? There should be no homeless people on the streets. You shouldn't be allowed to live on the street. It should be illegal. It should be a mandate that you're living in a shelter, right? If you are homeless, that you live in a shelter, that you sleep in a shelter. You can't sleep on the streets, right? No, you can't do that. That's how it should be, okay? But again, Zohran is saying otherwise.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, but no mayor so far has done a good job.
Tonight, Mayor Adams is defending his approach.
If he's stating he's no longer going to implement a smart policy on our part, New Yorkers are going to see the repercussions of that.
He's just right. But he lost the election because he couldn't get the retard vote. So, whatever. Bro, it's so sad that we are literally being ruled by the retarded among us. Like, this is the flaw of democracy actually shown. Like, this is like the actual flaws of democracy being broadcasted. Like, broadcasted to the world.
Well, David Giffen credits Adams for moving some homeless into stable housing, but not, he says, nearly enough. He credits Mamdani for taking an approach that he says may be successful. Tonight at Penn Station, NJ Burke.
It's not going to be successful. We've already seen this approach, right? This is the same approach that
I love how this dude's like, he's like, no shits given, Like, this dude is like a no fucks given perspective. He's just sitting here. He's like, no, bro. No, guy.
Governor Hochul
this
drew
isn't gonna work. We tried this already. It's not gonna happen. Yeah, we know. He's just not, in my opinion, taking the extra step to say that this is the plan.
You are homeless, that you live in a shelter, that you sleep in a shelter. You can't sleep on the streets, right? No, you can't do that. That's how it should be, okay? But again, Zohran is saying otherwise.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, but no mayor so far has done a good job.
Tonight, Mayor Adams is defending his approach.
If he's stating he's no longer...
Well, David Giffen credits Adams for moving some homeless into stable housing, but not, he says, nearly enough. He credits Mamdani for taking an approach that he says may be successful. Tonight at Penn Station.
It's not going to be successful. We've already seen this approach, right?
Oh my God, we're so
San Francisco, LA, California took when it comes to their homeless. And it's been a complete and total disaster, right? It's just so funny how these progressives continue to do the same stuff over and over and over again, and they expect different results.
They don't expect different results. It's the retard vote. Dude, maybe this guy has more faith in these people than I do. I think that he won the retard vote. They're not thinking that far ahead. They're not, oh, well, they tried to do this in LA, and now LA is a major shithole. No, they're not thinking that far ahead. They just see a guy that's like, actually, I believe and care about people, and I care about the poor, and I care about the immigrants, and I care about the poor, immigrants, and the homeless, and I care about people that can't afford things, and I care about you. And they're like, ah, and then they vote for him. Sorry, man.
They never get a different result. And then they say, well, we didn't get the result that we wanted because we didn't go far enough, right? That's not how it works, okay? You do not say, hey, well, the solution to homelessness is to make housing more affordable. And it's like, well, how long is that going to take, right? Is that going to be immediate? No, it's not going to be immediate, right? So in the meantime, while Zohran tries to make housing more affordable, which I doubt that he can do, but while he attempts to do that, you have to be cleaning people up off the streets, right? It's the same thing when it comes to crime. They say, well,
bro, people don't understand the memes. Like, in the Jewish community, the memes about Zohran Mamdani are diabolical. Like there's a company that works with Jews that are immigrating to Israel, for example. And they put out like this giant sign like all over social media saying employee of the month, helping Jews decide to immigrate to Israel, Zohran Mamdani. And there's like a big poster of this fucking retard because now all the Jews are leaving. So look at that. Wow. Like, dude, you don't understand. The memes are like tragic and diabolical at the same time.
The real problem with crime is poverty. If we end poverty, then we'll end crime, which I don't believe ending poverty will end crime, right? But if that's what you believe, then you can't put the cart before the horse. You have to be tough on crime until you can improve economic conditions, right? But that's not how progressives think, right? They want to essentially allow chaos and destruction while they try to fix the economic conditions But what they don't understand is that the chaos and destruction is part of the reason why they can't fix the economic conditions, right? Which is why their policies never work. So again, Eric Adams, he is lashing out over Zohran into his program, and he has a big problem with this, and rightfully so, because again,
of course he's right. It's not gonna matter.
San Francisco.
It's because Zohran will never be convinced. He will never be convinced that any of these ideas are wrong, because these are the ideas that are the beneficial to purely and utterly the immigrant Muslims. Okay? Like, dude, it's so tiring. Watch people try to figure out, why is Zohran making this terrible decision, even though we know that this terrible decision failed in LA and in San Francisco, and it failed in so many other places. So why is he making these decisions? He's making these decisions because it benefits the one goal he actually has. Immigrant Muslims. That's the only thing he cares about, man. And he's proving it every single time. Yes, he doesn't care about homeless people being out there, because most of them are not immigrant Muslims. Okay, most of them are not immigrant Muslims. He wants to tax white people and Jews. You know why? Because that tax money is going to go to immigrant Muslims. All this shit are features. They're not bugs. He knows that this isn't going to work. He doesn't care. He doesn't care at all. What are you talking about?
Earlier today, Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani announced that once he takes office on January 1st, he'll stop sweeping homeless encampments across our city. I won't criticize him on every issue, but when a policy harms New Yorkers, I have to speak up. Showing compassion for those sleeping on the streets is not a sweep. It is humane. Ending this action will create a quality of life nightmare. Just look at
it will be a nightmare. But I think he wants to turn it into a shithole. He wants to make New York a shithole. It helps him. It helps his agenda. Bro, the homeless encampments are a feature, not a bug to this guy.
Encampments, and you'll see the damage. Worse, leaving people to suffer in the cold isn't just neglectful, it's a disgrace. Throughout the last close to 4 years, I was adamant about cleaning those encampments because we cannot tolerate a city that turns a blind eye to human suffering. I urge the incoming administration to rethink this, and I urge...
The homeless industrial complex is bringing in billions of dollars a year. That money will be, in my opinion, diverted to, well, not the homeless people. All right, well, he already raised his own salary. All right, let's see what else he does with the money. I mean, I have my guesses, but this is crazy.
New Yorkers to raise their voices. Let's call it what it is. Labeling the abandonment of our homeless neighbors as progress is a slap in the face to real progress. It's not just misguided, it's shameful. And we need to call it out for the disgrace that it is.
Yeah, so New York City is going back to the 1970s, right? It was already a shithole. Right now it's going to be a full-blown landfill, right? Thanks to Zohran Mamdani. He really is trying to turn New York City into Mumbai. That's what he's trying to do. And
he's trying to turn New York into Sudan.
I think
or
that
not Sudan, Uganda, whatever.
Stuff like this is exactly what I'm talking about when I tell you guys, just wait, right? Let's wait. The midterms are a year away. We got a bunch of socialist lunatics who are going to be taking office, and the American people are going to see, right, how these people govern. And hopefully people see the disaster that is going to happen, because it's certainly going to be a disaster. It's been a disaster everywhere this stuff has been tried, and it will continue to be a disaster. People are going to see this disaster, and hopefully the American people think twice about putting these people in office, right? About
giving... They don't care. Again, it's the retard vote. We are being outgunned by retards. That's where we're at.
These people power, because, again, this type of governance is par for the course. We know what Zohran's going to do. And the reason why we know is because he's surrounded himself with progressive lunatics.
That's right.
So even if he has, a small group in his circle,
he'll be like, gay rights, and then, woo, we'll get the gay vote. And he'll be like, Islam and Sharia law, and woo, we'll get the Muslim vote. And he'll be like, free shit for everybody, woo, we'll get the poor people vote. Then he'll get, like, immigrants, and then he'll get all the illegal votes and all the immigrant votes. Like, dude, this is literally what free shit to you retards, and to you retards, and to you retards. Don't have empathy? And then he gets the white woman vote. Bro.
Who are giving him good ideas, right? A vast majority of his again, inner circle, they're lunatics. They're woke. And that's how they're going to govern. And because
it's worse. It's worse, man.
Because of that, this is what you get.
It's worse.
This is what you get.
Woke shit is just, in my opinion, the retards that have decided to open the gates to the Shire to the orcs. I don't think people realize how much worse it's gonna get. The woke shit is annoying and cringe, all right? Get the fuck out of memory. It's annoying and cringe. Don't get me wrong, okay? Out of memory. That's what every time I talk about Zohran Mamdani, I feel like. But the reality is that's where we're at. That's where we're at, man. All right? The woke retards are going to be a joke after New York becomes a PvP server.
This should have been an easy one for Zohran. No, we're not going to allow homeless people on the street. Right? This should have been an easy one. No, but because of his progressive ideology, yeah, we got to allow homeless people on the street because it is inhumane to force them off the street.
Crazy.
Right? That's progressivism, right?
Straight fact.
And as long as progressive ideology is guiding these individuals and their policy decisions, this is what you're going to get. And that's how I know it's going to be a disaster. And hopefully over the next year, we're going to be able to see that, hey, this is a disaster, and that will help Republicans and Trump in the midterms. But
yeah, we'll see.
Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll support.
This place, they're turning it into like a battleground. They're turning it into England, man. We're so cooked. Yeah, no, but what a wild ride, man. Again, I've already made my opinions pretty clear on the entire Zohran Mamdani situation. I think it's so much scarier than a lot of people are giving it credit for. A lot of people are talking about this from the perspective of bad progressive ideas, but that is a drop in the bucket compared to what's actually scary about this. What's actually scary about this is the fact that the progressive lunatics are opening the floodgates to a much scarier threat. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Hopefully I'm completely wrong and New York City becomes a paradise. I doubt it will, but who knows? My grandfather lives in New York. He's 100 years old. He's a Holocaust survivor. And I asked him about Zohran Mamdani. And I'm like, but Zohran Mamdani said, globalize the Intifada and stuff like that. And my grandfather said, I survived Hitler. We'll survive Zohran Mamdani. That's the right fucking attitude. That dude's a gangster. See you in the next one, gamers. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.